The alarm screamed at 4:47 a.m., cutting through the November darkness. Daniel Hayes's hand shot out from under the worn comforter, silencing it with practiced efficiency. He lay there for exactly 30 seconds, his daily allowance for self-pity staring at the water-stained ceiling. 30 seconds. Then he moved. The shower was quick water, never quite hot enough in this old building. His Bennett Tech maintenance uniform hung on the bathroom door, navy blue shirt with the company logo pants pressed the night before. Rachel's iron, one of the few things he'd kept. Rachel. 4 years, and her name still caught in his throat. In the kitchen, Daniel assembled Sophie's lunch with the precision of someone who'd perfected this routine. Spider-Man lunchbox PB&J crusts off, apple slices, baby carrots she'd trade for cookies, juice box. On the napkin he drew a small heart with Sharpie, just like Rachel used to do. Sophie's clothes waited on her chair. Purple unicorn shirt, favorite jeans with the knees wearing through. He needed new ones, but that would wait until next paycheck. The school shoes needed replacing more urgently. 5:43 a.m. Time to wake her. Morning sunshine. Daniel whispered, brushing blonde hair from Sophie's face. At 7 years old, she already looked so much like Rachel it sometimes hurt. 5 more minutes, Sophie mumbled. You said that yesterday. We almost missed the bus. The bus can wait. I'm very important. Daniel smiled, despite his exhaustion. Is that so? Very, very important. Mrs. Peterson says I'm her best student. 15 minutes later, they ate oatmeal together, the cheap kind from the big container dressed up with honey and frozen blueberries that turned everything purple. Daddy Sophie said around a mouthful. Don't talk with your mouth full, bug. She swallowed dramatically. Does Mommy watch us from heaven? The question hit him like it always did. Unexpected, devastating. I think she does, Daniel said carefully. I think she's very proud of you. Does she know I got an A on my spelling test? I'm sure she does. At 7:15, they walked hand in hand to the corner bus stop. Other children gathered, most with mothers, some with fathers, a few with nannies. Daniel was one of only 2 single dads here, and he felt it every morning. The way conversations would pause when he approached resume about playdates and PTA meetings, he was never quite invited to. Sophie didn't notice. She chatted about her volcano science project, something they'd build this weekend, and waved when she spotted her friend Emma. The bus arrived with hydraulic hiss and exhaust cloud. Sophie hugged him tight. Love you, Daddy. Love you more, sunshine. Love you most. She waved from the window until the bus disappeared. Daniel walked 2 blocks to his 2008 Honda Accord faded blue paint, cracked windshield he couldn't afford to fix. The 35-minute drive to downtown Seattle meant NPR on low, lukewarm gas station coffee mental checklist of the day's repairs. The Bennett Tech building rose 20 stories into the Seattle skyline, all glass and steel. Daniel parked in Section E, far corner of the underground garage, next to Teslas and Mercedes. His Honda looked particularly shabby in this company. In the maintenance office, Jake was already sorting work orders. Morning sunshine, Jake said without looking up. Full day ahead. HVAC units acting up elevator flagged for sensor replacement, and somebody on the executive floor keeps calling about their thermostat. Thermostats are easy, not when the CEO's assistant is making the calls. Daniel clipped his radio to his belt. Just another day in a building full of people who barely noticed him. He had no idea everything was about to change. Meanwhile, 15 floors above Daniel's head, Olivia Bennett woke at exactly 4:00 a.m. No alarm needed. Her body had learned to wake before dawn habit formed from years of proving herself to a father who believed sleep was for the weak. The penthouse was silent in a way that felt less peaceful and more like a vacuum. Floor-to-ceiling windows offered a stunning view of Seattle's skyline Space Needle lit against pre-dawn darkness. Puget Sound dark and vast beyond Mount Rainier, barely visible through November clouds. On paper, this apartment was worth $4.8 million. In reality, it felt like an expensive prison. Olivia allowed herself 2 minutes of staring at the ceiling, 2 minutes of acknowledging the hollowness before pushing it down. Her morning routine was mechanical shower at 5:15, hair and makeup by 5:45, dressed by 6 Hasdras. Charcoal grey Armani power suit, heels adding 3 inches to her 5'7" frame. In the mirror, Olivia Bennett, CEO of Bennett Tech Solutions, stared back. 29 years old. Successful by every business metric. Empty by every metric that mattered. The kitchen was stainless steel and unused appliances. Coffee from her $2,000 Italian espresso machine, drunk standing at the counter while reviewing reports on her tablet. Breakfast Greek yogurt straight from the container, eaten while reading emails. By 6:30, she was in her Tesla heading downtown. Vivaldi's Four Seasons played softly what her father always played. The morning commute was planning time, rehearsing meetings, anticipating objections. The parking garage was nearly empty this early. Her reserved spot, O. Bennett CEO, was steps from the private elevator. As she walked across pristine concrete, her heels echoing, she passed maintenance vehicles and that old Honda with the cracked windshield. She didn't give them a second glance. At 2:15 p.m., the board meeting finally ended. Victor Torres, the CFO, had questioned her decisions on 3 projects. She'd won each argument, but the victories felt hollow. The executive floor was quiet as Olivia headed toward her private elevator. Near the elevator bank, a maintenance worker knelt beside an open-panel tools spread around him. Brown hair slightly mussed, wearing the Navy Bennett Tech uniform. Radio crackling on his belt. Olivia barely registered his presence. The elevator doors stood open. She stepped inside, mentally preparing for her next meeting. "Ms. Bennett, wait!" The voice came from behind, urgent. Olivia's finger pressed the button. She glanced back briefly. The maintenance worker was half standing, one hand raised. "The elevator's been flagged for—" The doors closed, cutting off his words. Olivia leaned against the wall, closing her eyes. Just needed a moment of silence. The elevator lurched. Her eyes flew open as the car jerked violently, dropping several feet before catching with horrible grinding. Lights flickered once, twice, then switched to dim yellow emergency lighting. Everything stopped. Olivia's heart pounded in her ears. She moved to the control panel, pressing buttons frantically. Floor 12, floor 13. Door open. Emergency. Nothing. The digital display showed 12.5 stuck between floors. "No, no, no," Olivia breathed. She pulled out her phone. No signal, metal car blocking reception. The walls seemed closer suddenly. Ceiling lower. Air thinner. She was 7 again, locked in the closet while her parents screamed at each other. 3 hours in the dark, crying, banging until her hands hurt. 3 hours before they remembered she existed. Her chest tightened. Vision narrowing. Each breath felt like drowning. The intercom crackled. Ms. Bennett male voice. Calm. Cutting through her spiral like a lifeline. "Ms. Bennett, can you hear me?" She tried to speak, but only a strangled gasp emerged. "It's Daniel. From maintenance. I see you're stuck between 12 and 13. Maintenance." The worker she'd ignored. I can't. The doors won't." I know Daniel's voice was steady, unhurried. "I'm going to get you out. 5 minutes, maybe less. But I need you to do something first. What desperate willing to do anything. Breathe with me. In for 4 counts. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. She tried to follow breath, hitching. Good. Now out for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. His voice was an anchor. Calm, patient. Again. In for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Slowly, impossibly, her breathing steadied. Good. You're doing great. Now tell me something. What's your favorite color? The question was so unexpected her spiraling thoughts caught on it. What, why? Humor me. Favorite color blue. Ocean blue. Ocean blue. That's specific. Got a story there. Through the speaker, she heard him working tools clicking, but his voice never wavered. My grandmother's beach house, Olivia heard herself say. Summer vacations. The water was peaceful. Sounds perfect. Hold on to that image. Ocean blue, peaceful water. Can you see it? Yes, good. Because in about 30 seconds, these doors are going to open. The elevator jerked. Olivia gasped. That's me, Daniel said calmly. Told you. 5 minutes. The elevator descended smoothly toward floor 12. Olivia gripped her knees, counting seconds. Here we go. Doors opening in 3, 2, 1. The doors slid open with a soft chime. Daniel Hayes stood in the hallway, and for the first time Olivia really looked at him. Taller than she'd realized, maybe 6'1", with sandy brown hair disheveled from work. Maintenance uniform had oil stains on one sleeve, work boots scuffed. But his eyes, blue-grey kind, looked at her with genuine concern, but no pity. He offered his hand to help her over the gap. Olivia took it, warm, calloused, strong, steady in a way that made panic recede. Her legs shook as she stood. Daniel's hand moved to her elbow, supporting without making it seem like weakness. You okay? He asked softly. Olivia nodded, not trusting her voice. That was a sensor malfunction, Daniel said, releasing her gently. Already logged for replacement. Should have been tagged out. My fault for not doing it sooner. Taking responsibility even though she'd ignored his warning. Thank you, Olivia managed. Panic in broken elevators. Most people do. Nothing to be embarrassed about. Making her feel normal, not weak. Your voice helped. The breathing. Daniel smiled, transforming his face. Warm. Genuine. Old paramedic trick. Worked ambulances before this. Talking people down from panic kind of my specialty. You were a paramedic. About 8 years. Changed careers when my daughter was born. Needed stable hours. Daughter. The information settled into Olivia's mind. That was good of you. Nah, selfish. She's way better company than drunks at 3 a.m. Self-deprecating humor surprised a laugh from Olivia. When was the last time she'd laughed? Footsteps approached Margaret, appearing around the corner, breathless. Ms. Bennett, your 3 o'clock is waiting. Reality crashed back. CEO and maintenance worker standing too close. Olivia stepped back, armor sliding into place. Thank you again, she said, voice cooling to professional tone. I appreciate your assistance. Daniel's expression flickered, but he just nodded. Anytime, Ms. Bennett. He turned back to his tools. Olivia walked toward her office, deliberately not looking back. But she could still feel the warmth of his hand on hers, still hear his voice guiding her breathing, still see that genuine, uncomplicated smile. And for the first time in 3 years, Olivia Bennett felt something stir that wasn't work-related stress. She felt curious. Margaret Chen had worked as executive assistant for 23 years. Very little surprised her. But when Olivia Bennett walked in Tuesday morning and casually asked for the maintenance schedule, specifically when Daniel Hayes would be on the executive floor, Margaret's professional mask slipped. The maintenance schedule, Ms. Bennett. Yes, when will Mr. Hayes be available for a facilities review? Margaret pulled up the schedule. He's assigned to executive floor HVAC checks at 10 a.m. today. Perfect. Thank you. Through the glass walls, Margaret watched her boss check her reflection 3 times in 5 minutes, adjusting already perfect hair. 29 years in corporate, and she'd never seen Olivia act remotely interested in a man. Not since the divorce 3 years ago. Margaret pulled up Daniel Hayes's employee file. Handsome in an understated way. Kind eyes, good performance reviews, widower with young daughter. Not at all Olivia's usual type. Margaret made a note. Watch this situation carefully. At 9:45, Olivia walked to the thermostat on her office wall. Digital display 72 degrees, airflow fine. She stared at it, then picked up her phone. Margaret, the temperature in my office feels off. I'll call maintenance immediately. Olivia hung up, heart pounding. She was acting like a teenager with a crush. At 10:03, knock on her doorframe. Ms. Bennett. Heard you're having temperature issues. Daniel stood in her doorway, tool belt, easy smile. He looked exactly the same as yesterday, but somehow different. Higher definition now. Daniel. Yes. It's been inconsistent. The lie tasted strange. Olivia never lied. Let's see what we're dealing with. Daniel pulled a thermometer from his belt, walking to the thermostat. Movement sufficient, practiced. Olivia watched his hands. Capable. Gentle with equipment? System looks fine, Daniel said. Reading 72, pretty standard. You feeling too hot or cold? Hot. Olivia's face warmed. It varies. Sometimes one, sometimes the other. Daniel turned to look at her. Something in his eyes, amusement, understanding. He knew this call was unnecessary. That usually means the thermostat's working perfectly. Long pause, giving her an out. Tell you what, I'll adjust the settings anyway. Sometimes these units can be finicky. Helping her. Covering for her. Making it less awkward. Thank you, Olivia managed. Daniel turned back, making adjustments that probably didn't need making. Giving her what she wanted, his presence, while pretending it was necessary. So Daniel said casually, Still working. How are you feeling after yesterday? The elevator thing. I'm fine. Momentary panic. Claustrophobia. Something like that. Olivia found herself continuing. When I was 7, my parents were fighting and I hid in a closet. The door locked. I was stuck 3 hours before they found me. Why was she telling him this? Daniel turned, giving her full attention. Really listening. 3 hours is a long time for a 7-year-old. I learned to be self-sufficient, not to depend on anyone. Except yesterday you had to. Except yesterday. Understanding passed between them. For what it's worth, Daniel said, quietly asking for help isn't weakness. It's being human. The words hit harder than they should. Your daughter Olivia changed subjects. Sophie. Right, she's 7. Daniel's face transformed. Pride. Love. Pure and uncomplicated. Yeah, just turned 7 last month. What's she like? Daniel sat on her desk edge, relaxed in a way that should have felt inappropriate but didn't. She's everything. Smart curious, asks a million questions. Currently obsessed with space. Wants to be an astronaut. That's ambitious. She doesn't know impossible yet. Hope she never learns it. The way he talked about his daughter Olivia had never heard such unguarded love. Her mother. I saw in your file she passed away. I'm sorry. Daniel's expression flickered. Pain, then acceptance. 4 years ago. Cancer. Fast diagnosis, too. 6 months. Sophie doesn't remember much. She was 3. That must have been incredibly difficult. Hardest thing ever. Watching Rachel fade. Knowing I'd do this alone. but Sophie needed me to hold it together, so I did. Simple statement, years of pain behind it. You quit being a paramedic for her, couldn't handle rotating shifts nights away. Maintenance pays less, but I'm home for dinner. Tuck her in every night. Worth more than money. Olivia thought about her own life. All money. No meaning. What about you? Daniel asked. Any kids? No. I was married, but it didn't work out. He wanted someone who'd put him first. I wanted someone who wouldn't cheat with my assistant. Bitterness slipped through. Daniel whistled low. Your assistant. That's cold, efficient. They're married now, living in my old house. And you're better off. Or that's what I tell myself. Honesty. When had she last been honest about her feelings? Daniel studied her, seeing through years of armor. Well, he stood packing tools, thermostats all set. Should work perfectly now. Though between you and me, it was working perfectly before. Gentle teasing. No judgment. Olivia couldn't help smiling. I'll try to only call for actual emergencies. Or don't. I mean, fixing things that aren't broken is easier than fixing things that are. Was he flirting? Daniel headed toward the door. Olivia felt sudden panic at him leaving. Daniel! He turned. Yeah, thank you. For yesterday. And for this. Anytime, Miss Bennett. Olivia. You can call me Olivia. His smile widened. Olivia. Okay, then. After he left, Olivia couldn't focus on work. Her office felt different. Warmer, not the temperature. Something else. That evening, Daniel sat in his Honda outside Sophie's elementary school, waiting for dismissal. His phone buzzed. Text from Jake. Dude, did you really rescue the CEO from a stuck elevator office is talking? You okay? Daniel typed. She's fine. Just did my job. But his mind was elsewhere. He kept thinking about Olivia Bennett's face stepping out of that elevator. The vulnerability, the genuine terror she'd tried to hide. And those eyes. Green. Ocean blue was her favorite color, but her eyes were green. The school bell rang. Sophie burst through doors, backpack bouncing, pigtails flying. Daddy! She launched herself at him. Hey, Bug! Good day. The best we learned about planets, and Mrs. Peterson says I have excellent questions. In the car, Sophie chattered. While Daniel navigated to Mrs. Patterson's building. Their elderly neighbor had been a godsend, affordable childcare patients' home-cooked meals. How was your day, Daddy? Fine. Fixed some stuff. Did you fix anything important? Daniel thought about Olivia Bennett. CEO, trapped and terrified. About talking her through panic. About the way she'd looked at him saying, thank you, really looked not through him. Yeah, he said softly. I think maybe I did. Wednesday afternoon at 4:15, Daniel's shift ended. He was loading his toolbox into the Honda when he heard heels on concrete. Olivia was walking toward him, still in a power suit tablet underarm. She looked like she belonged in a magazine, not a parking garage. Daniel. Hi. Her voice different. Less CEO, more uncertain. Ms. Ben Olivia. Hi, using her first name felt strange and right. Is this your daughter? She was looking at his car where Sophie sat reading. His daughter heard them talking now, peering out with undisguised curiosity. Yeah. Sophie, come say hello. Sophie unbuckled and hopped out, looking up at Olivia. You're really tall, Sophie announced. Olivia laughed, really laughed. It's the heels. Without them, I'm normal. You smell nice. Like flowers. Thank you. You have pretty hair. Sophie touched her pigtails, pleased. Daddy did it. He's getting better. They used to be crooked, Sophie Daniel said, embarrassed. You do her hair. Olivia asked, something soft in her expression. YouTube tutorials. Harder than it looks. Olivia's eyes held his, imagining him carefully braiding small blonde hair. Are you Daddy's friend? Sophie asked, with childhood bluntness. Olivia looked uncertain. We work in the same building. But do you like him? Think he's nice? Daniel's hand moved to Sophie's shoulder. Gentle warning. I do think he's nice, Olivia said honestly. Very nice. Good. Because he's the best daddy ever. Olivia's expression flickered with something Daniel couldn't read. Soph, we need to get going. Okay. Bye, pretty lady. After Sophie climbed back in. Daniel and Olivia stood in the parking garage, few feet between them, feeling like inches. Sorry about that. She's friendly. Don't apologize. She's wonderful. Olivia meant it. Did you need something? Another thermostat issue? Teasing but gentle. Olivia took a breath, gathering courage. No. I wanted to talk to you. Away from the office. Okay. Waiting. Giving her space. This is going to sound strange. And probably inappropriate. And you can absolutely say no. You're making me nervous. I don't have a husband. The words rushed out. Inelegant. Daniel's brain stuttered. Okay, I mean, I'm divorced. 3 years. And I've spent those years telling myself I was better off alone. That relationships were just liabilities. Words coming faster, dam breaking. But then you calmed me down in that elevator. You made me laugh about thermostats. And I saw you with Sophie, and I realized... Her voice cracked. I realized I've been so lonely I forgot what it felt like to want something beyond work. To want someone. Daniel's heart pounded. This couldn't be happening. So I'm asking, probably, stupidly, definitely, unprofessionally. Can I have a date with you? The question hung between them. In his car, Sophie had her face pressed against window, watching with interest. Daniel's mind raced through reasons to say no. She was his boss. She was rich. He was broke. Sophie needed stability. He hadn't dated since Rachel. But he thought about Olivia's smile, the vulnerability in her eyes, the way she'd looked at Sophie with genuine warmth. And Rachel's voice, clear in memory. Don't stop living because I stopped living. Olivia, he said carefully, I'm going to be honest. She braced for rejection. I haven't been on a date in 6 years. The last woman I dated, I married. When she died, I gave up on that part of my life. I understand. Let me finish. I gave up because I was scared. Scared of letting Sophie get attached to someone who might leave. Scared of failing at being enough. Rachel's last words haunted him. I'm sorry I'm leaving you alone. But you asking this with your hands shaking, that takes guts. More than I've had in years. Hope flickered in Olivia's eyes. So yes, I'd like dinner with you. But I need you to understand Sophie comes first. Always. If this affects her negatively, I'm done. No second chances. Olivia didn't hesitate. Good. She should be. The immediate answer made Daniel's chest loosen. And I'm broke. I don't care. You drive a Tesla. I drive a 2008 Honda with broken air conditioning. Does it get you where you need to go? Usually. Then it's a good car. She was trying. And people will talk. Your board employees, everyone. The CEO dating the maintenance guy. Let them talk. Easy to say now, I know. But I'm asking anyway. Stubborn. Determined. Real. Daniel made a decision that terrified him. Okay, yes, one dinner. Before he could process what he'd agreed to, Sophie burst from the car. Does this mean you're Daddy's girlfriend? Olivia looked at Daniel helplessly. He knelt to Sophie's level. Bug, we're just going to have dinner. Get to know each other. But you like her, right? You have your smiley face. What smiley face? The one you have now. The one from pictures with Mommy. The innocent observation devastated him. Sophie turned to Olivia, serious beyond her years. If you're going to have dinner with my daddy, promise something. What's that promise you won't make him sad? He's been sad a really long time. Olivia's eyes filled with tears. This child protecting her father. I promise I will try very hard not to make him sad. Good. And also, do you like pizza? Olivia laughed through tears. I do. We're making pizza tonight. You can come. Daddy lets me put olives, even though I don't like them. Sophie Daniel started, but Olivia interrupted. I'd like that. But I should tell you I'm terrible at cooking. Sophie took her hand without hesitation. That's okay. I can teach you. And just like that, Daniel found himself leading the CEO toward his beat-up Honda with his 7-year-old chattering about pizza toppings. His life had just gotten very complicated, but watching Sophie hold Olivia's hand maybe complicated was exactly what he needed. The first official date happened on a Saturday afternoon that felt more like Seattle winter steady drizzle. Grey clouds low over Puget Sound, the kind of day locals called a little misty. Olivia had been nervous all week. Margaret had noticed immediately. You're checking your phone every 5 minutes. That's not like you. I have a thing tomorrow. A thing with the maintenance worker. His name is Daniel. Margaret smiled. I know. Now it was Saturday at 1:45 p.m. and Olivia stood in her walk-in closet, staring at the jeans she'd bought Tuesday. Dark wash. Not too tight. She'd tried them on 3 times paired with different tops, changed her mind repeatedly. This was ridiculous. She ran a multi-million-dollar company. She negotiated with venture capitalists, but she couldn't figure out what to wear. She finally settled on the jeans, simple white t-shirt, leather jacket that was nice but not screaming expensive. Sneakers, hair down instead of up. In the mirror, she barely recognized herself. She looked normal. Her phone buzzed. Daniel outside when you're ready. No rush. Daniel's Honda looked even more beat up in daylight, but when he got out to open her door, his smile made everything else disappear. You look great. I feel like I'm wearing a costume. The jeans' first pair since college. Daniel laughed. They look natural. Nobody would guess. They drove north toward Gasworks Park, one of Seattle's quirky landmarks, where old industrial equipment sat preserved on the waterfront. Hope you don't mind walking, Daniel said as they parked. Not exactly a fancy restaurant, but Dick's Drive-In has the best burgers in Seattle for $4. Thought we'd eat there, then walk the park. This is perfect. And it was. Dick's Drive-In was a Seattle institution, cash only. No frills, just damn good burgers. They ate standing at the counter, rain misting around them. Olivia trying not to drip special sauce on her new jeans. So this is what normal people do, she said between bites. Stand in the rain eating cheap burgers, pretty much. I like it. The walk through Gasworks Park was beautiful despite the weather. Or because of it, the misty rain made everything soft Seattle skyline visible across Lake Union, the old industrial structures rising like steampunk sculptures. They walked and talked. Really talked. So, paramedic, Olivia said. Why'd you choose that? My dad was a firefighter. Grew up around first responders. Liked helping people in crisis. What made you stop? Rachel got pregnant. We'd planned around my schedule, but Sophie came early. Complications. Rachel needed bed rest, and suddenly irregular hours didn't work. Grief flickered across his face. Then the cancer diagnosis. I was taking care of both of them. Called in sick so much, they basically pushed me toward voluntary resignation. Maintenance job came through a friend, regular hours, decent pay. Not what I imagined, but gave me time with them. They reached a viewpoint overlooking the lake. water dark and choppy rain pattering on their jackets. "Do you regret it?" Olivia asked. "No. Immediate. Those last 6 months with Rachel, I was there. Every moment, worth every sacrifice." They sat on a damp bench. Olivia's new sneakers were soaked. Daniel had warned her at mile 2. "Your turn," Daniel said. "CEO at 29. "That's impressive. How'd that happen, family company? My father built it. Expected me to run it. Groomed me from childhood." "Sounds like pressure. Constant. Nothing was ever quite good enough. A in calculus should have been A+. Second biggest account. Should have been biggest. Old pain surfacing. When I finally became CEO, I thought he'd be proud." He said, "Don't screw it up. That was my congratulations." "Where is he now?" "Retired in Scottsdale. Plays golf. Criticizes my quarterly earnings every Sunday like clockwork. Do you like being CEO?" The question stopped Olivia cold. No one had ever asked. "I don't know. I never thought about whether I liked it. It was just what I was supposed to do." "That's not really an answer." "I know, but it's the honest one." Daniel's expression was thoughtful. "What would you do if you weren't CEO?" Long pause. "I used to paint watercolors. In college, before my father said it was a waste of time." "Why'd you stop? Because he was right. You can't build an empire with watercolors, but you can build a life." The words settled between them. They walked back as drizzle turned to proper rain, both laughing and running the last 100 yards to his car. Sitting in the Honda rain, drumming on the roof, neither wanted the date to end. "This was nice," Olivia said. "Really nice." "Yeah. Close. Neither moving away. Moment stretching." Daniel's hand reached up, tucking wet hair behind her ear. "Can I kiss you? Please?" His lips on hers, gentle, tentative. Her hands on his chest, feeling heartbeat. Both pulling back after a moment, smiling. "I've wanted to do that since the thermostat. I've wanted you to since the elevator." They kissed again. Longer, feeling like the beginning of something real. By mid-January, they'd settled into a rhythm. 3 dinners a week at Daniel's apartment, Olivia was getting better at cooking under Sophie's patient instruction. Weekend outings to Pike Place Market or the Seattle Aquarium. Phone calls every night after Sophie went to bed, sometimes lasting hours. One Saturday, Olivia found herself at Woodland Park Zoo, walking between a 7-year-old who wouldn't stop asking questions and a man who made her heart race. "Can we see elephants first? And tigers? And penguins?" Sophie bounced, holding both their hands. "We can see everything Olivia promised." At the elephant exhibit, they watched a mother with her baby. "That's like Daddy with me," Sophie observed. "He's the mama and daddy elephant." Daniel looked embarrassed. "Sophie, what you are." Olivia's heart swelled. "He is. You're very lucky." "I know." At the tiger exhibit, Sophie read the information placard aloud, explaining about Siberian tigers with confidence. "You're really smart," Olivia said. "Daddy reads to me every night. Are you going to read to me sometime testing?" Hopeful. Olivia looked at Daniel, who nodded encouragement. "I'd like that. If you want. I want Daddy does voices, but he's not good at princess voices." The penguin feeding was Sophie's favorite. She stood at the glass, watching birds dive and swim, face lit with pure joy. That evening, after Sophie was asleep, Daniel and Olivia talked on the phone, their routine now. "She really likes you," Daniel said. "I really like her. She's incredible. I'm biased, but I agree. The way she talks about Rachel. No resentment, just curiosity. How did you do that? I never let her blame Rachel for dying. Never let her think her mom chose to leave. I kept pictures around, told stories, made sure Sophie knew she was loved. That must have been hard while you were grieving. Some nights I'd read Sophie stories about her mom, then go to my room and fall apart. But Sophie needed to know Rachel was good. Silence. Olivia in awe. You're a really good father. Some days I feel like I'm failing. You're being exactly what she needs. Conversation shifted. Can I ask you something? Daniel said. Always. Do you think about the future, like where this is going all the time? Do you? Yeah, and it scares me. Because I'm falling for you, Olivia. Really falling. But I keep waiting for the other shoe to drop. What shoe? The one where you wake up and realize you can do better. That I'm just the broke maintenance guy. Stop. You're not just anything. You're kind, patient, and amazing father. You make me laugh. You make me want to be better. But your world and mine are the same world now. We made them the same. Through the phone, she heard his breathing. I'm falling for you too, Olivia whispered. And yes, it terrifies me. But I don't want to stop. Me neither. Spring was pushing away winter's grey. Daffodils appeared in Seattle parks. Mount Rainier became visible more often through clearing clouds. Olivia and Daniel had been dating nearly 3 months. No official I love you yet, though both felt it. One evening at Daniel's apartment after Sophie was asleep, Daniel made a confession. I need to tell you something. I'm worried about what my family will think. Your family? My parents? They're flying in next month from Spokane. They want to meet you. That's good. They're good people. But they're working class through and through. My dad was a firefighter for 30 years. Mom worked at Walmart. They're going to have opinions about me dating a CEO. What kind of opinions? That you're out of my league? That this won't last? That rich people don't understand real problems? Olivia absorbed this. She'd been so focused on her world judging them, she hadn't considered his world doing the same. What do you want me to do? Be yourself. But maybe, don't mention the penthouse or the Tesla. Just be Olivia who likes cheap burgers and bad jokes. That is me now. I know. Just warning you, they'll be skeptical. Meeting his parents terrified Olivia more than any board meeting ever had. The whispers started before Olivia was ready. She'd been careful, no public dates at fancy restaurants, no obvious displays at the office. But Seattle's professional community was small, and people talked. Margaret walked into Olivia's office, Monday morning expression, carefully neutral, but eyes concerned. You should see this. She slid her phone across the desk. LinkedIn post from someone in their industry network. Spotted Bennett Tech CEO Olivia Bennett at Dick's Drive-In last Saturday, with what looked like a maintenance worker and his daughter. Cute love has no price. CEO life. 347 likes. Dozens of comments. Respect. Love doesn't care about bank accounts. Wait, she's dating an employee. That's a problem. My friend works at Bennett Tech. Says he's a widower, raises his daughter alone. Actually sounds sweet. This is going to end badly. Mark my words. Olivia scrolled through, stomach sinking. It is monitoring, trying to get it removed. The damage is done. Her phone rang. Victor Torres, CFO. My office. Now. Victor's office was sterile, all steel and glass, nothing personal. He stood at his window, not turning, when Olivia entered. I assume you've seen the LinkedIn situation. I'm aware. Then you understand why we're concerned. Concerned about what? That I'm dating someone. Victor turned. Concerned about the optics. The CEO dating an employee from a significantly lower position creates liability. He's not in my reporting chain. He's 3 levels removed. But you could still influence his employment. It's inappropriate. Elizabeth Chen, board member, was also present. She spoke more gently. Olivia, we're not trying to control your personal life, but you need to think about how this looks. How it looks, or how it affects my authority because I'm a woman. Dating down Victor's jaw tightened. This has nothing to do with... It has everything to do with it. If I were a male CEO dating my secretary, you'd congratulate me. But because I'm a woman dating a man who earns less, suddenly it's inappropriate. Elizabeth leaned forward. That's not fair. Isn't it, Victor, you hired your nephew as an intern despite 50 more qualified candidates? Elizabeth, your husband is our corporate lawyer, despite having the third best bid. But I date a maintenance worker, and suddenly there's an emergency meeting. Silence. I'm not ending this relationship to make you comfortable. If that's a problem, vote me out. Victor's expression darkened, but Olivia was already walking out. That evening, Olivia arrived at Daniel's apartment shaking with residual anger. Daniel took one look and pulled her inside. What happened? The board found out. They want me to end it. Maybe you should. Olivia's head snapped up. What? This is affecting your career. Your reputation. I don't want to be the reason. Stop. You're not the reason. They're the reason. Their prejudice, their small-mindedness. But they're right about one thing. I don't fit in your world. Then I'll change my world. The words surprised both of them. Daniel's parents arrived on a Saturday. Jack Hayes was tall, broad-shouldered, weathered from years of firefighting. Patricia was warm but watchful, assessing Olivia immediately. They met at Daniel's apartment. Olivia wore jeans and a simple sweater, her normal person uniform now. Mom, Dad, this is Olivia. Olivia, my parents. Lovely to meet you both, Olivia said, shaking hands. Patricia's handshake was firm. Assessing. Sophie broke the tension. Grandma, Grandpa. Come see my science project. During lunch, Daniel cooked. Olivia helped Patricia watch how Olivia interacted with Sophie. The way she cut Sophie's sandwich without being asked. How she patiently explained something about volcanoes. Small domestic things that mattered. After lunch, while the kids played outside, Jack spoke bluntly. So you're the CEO everyone's talking about. I am. Daniel says you drive a Tesla. I do. Though lately I've been riding in his Honda more often. Why's that? Because I'd rather be with him than driving alone. Patricia studied her. My son's had a hard few years. Losing Rachel nearly broke him. I won't watch him get hurt again. I don't want to hurt him. You say that now, but when your world starts judging him, calling him a gold digger, questioning his motives, will you still think he's worth it? Yes. No hesitation. Jack and Patricia exchanged glances. He's worth everything, Olivia continued. He's the kindest, most genuine person I've ever met. He's an incredible father. He makes me want to be better. And I don't care what anyone thinks about the money difference. You say that now, Jack repeated. But when it gets hard, it's already hard. My board is pushing me to end it. My father calls me an embarrassment. I don't care. I'm choosing Daniel. Patricia's expression softened slightly. What about Sophie, she asked. If this doesn't work out, she gets hurt too. I know. That terrifies me more than anything. But I love her. I'm already attached. If Daniel and I ended, I'd fight to stay in her life anyway. You love her. Patricia's voice softened. Yes, she's wonderful. Smart, funny, kind, just like her father. The mothers locked eyes. Understanding passed between them. That evening, as Jack and Patricia prepared to leave, Patricia pulled Olivia aside. I was wrong about you. I thought you'd be cold corporate. But you look at my son the way Rachel did. Like he's your whole world. He is. Then you have my blessing. But if you hurt him, you'll hunt me down. I understand. Patricia smiled. We'll get along fine. Sophie's school had been okay until it wasn't. She'd mentioned Olivia a few times. My dad's girlfriend helps with my math homework. Teachers knew. Some parents knew. It had been fine. Then came the Mother's Day art project. Mrs. Peterson asked students to draw pictures of their mothers. Sophie, who never really knew Rachel, drew Olivia. Another student's mother saw it during pickup, recognized Olivia from business news. Word spread. By Wednesday, Daniel got a call from Mrs. Peterson. "We need to talk about Sophie." At lunch, Sophie sat with her friend Emma, trying to act normal. Other kids whispered. Brittany, known for being mean, spoke loud enough for Sophie to hear. "My mum says your dad's only dating that rich lady for her money." Sophie's face burned. "That's not true. Why else would a rich person date a janitor? He's not a janitor, he's maintenance supervisor." "Same thing. My dad says it's embarrassing." Emma defended her. "Sophie's dad is nice, leave her alone." But Brittany continued. "My mum says when they break up, your dad's going to sue her for money. That's what poor people do." Sophie stood, hands shaking. "My daddy isn't poor, and he loves Olivia, and Olivia loves us." "Sure she does." Brittany laughed. "Until she gets bored." Sophie dumped her lunch tray and ran to the bathroom, fighting tears. Emma followed. Mrs. Peterson found them immediately, called Daniel. Daniel picked Sophie up early. In the car, she was quiet, face blotchy. "Baby, what happened?" She told him everything. Every cruel word, every nasty implication. Daniel's hands tightened on the steering wheel, anger building. "Daddy, why do people think you don't love Olivia? Because they don't understand that love isn't about money. But you do love her, right?" "Yes, very much. Then why does everyone care that she's rich and you're not?" How to explain adult prejudice to a 7-year-old? Some people think rich people and regular people are too different, but they're wrong. I hate those kids. Don't hate them. Feel sorry for them. They're learning to be small-minded from their parents. Sophie absorbed this quietly. "Can we see Olivia?" "I want to see Olivia." "Yeah, baby. Let's go see Olivia." At Bennett Tech. Olivia was in a meeting when Margaret interrupted. "Daniel's here. Says it's urgent. He has Sophie." Olivia immediately left the conference room, finding them in the lobby. Sophie's face was red and puffy. Daniel looked furious. "Conference room. Now." In privacy, Daniel explained everything. Olivia listened, heartbreaking with every word. "I'm going to call the principal. I'm going to—" "You can't fix this with your position." "Olivia, that'll just make it worse." The raised voice surprised both of them. Sophie's head turned from where she'd been coloring. "I know I can't. But I can." "You can what?" "This is what I was afraid of. For getting hurt because of us. This isn't us. This is them. But it affects us. It affects her." They were both breathing hard, anger and fear mixing. "Maybe we need to take a break," Daniel said quietly. "Let things cool down." "No." Olivia's voice was firm. "We're not running away. I'm not running. I'm protecting my daughter. From me, from this situation, from people judging her because her dad is dating someone rich, so what we just give up. Let them win. It's not about winning, it's about Sophie feeling safe at school. Stop fighting." Sophie's small voice from behind them. They turned. Sophie's face was tear-streaked. "Stop fighting. Please." Olivia knelt. "Sophie, honey, you love each other. I know you do. So why are you being mean?" Simple question. Impossible to answer. Daniel knelt too. Sometimes adults say things they don't mean when they're scared. "Are you scared of Olivia leaving?" "Yes." Sophie looked at Olivia. "Are you scared we don't want you?" "Yes." "That's silly. We're a family now. 7-year-old wisdom." Sophie looked between them seriously. "When Mommy died, you told me it was okay to be sad, but not okay to stop living." Daniel's throat tightened. "I remember, you said Mommy would want us to be happy, that being sad forever wouldn't bring her back." Words he'd said now reflected back. "So why aren't you choosing to be happy?" "Olivia makes you happy. You make her happy." "I'm happy. Who cares what anyone thinks?" Both adults stared at this child, who saw everything so clearly. "She's right. Olivia said to Daniel. I'm sorry. For getting defensive for... No, I'm sorry. You're not the problem. I was scared and I lashed out. They moved toward each other, Sophie between them. I love you, Daniel said. I love you and I'm terrified of losing you. You're not losing me. Ever. Sophie looked between them. Promise, both adults looked at her. I promise, Olivia said. I promise, Daniel echoed. That night, Sophie asleep. Daniel and Olivia sat on his couch, exhausted. Today was awful. Top 5 worst days ever. We're going to have more days like this, I know. Can we survive them? We have to, because the alternative is living without each other. Long pause. Olivia. I need to tell you something. Okay. I love you, not just falling for you, I love you. Completely terrifyingly, all in love you. Olivia's eyes filled with tears. I love you too. Both of you. You've become my family. They held each other on that old couch, 2 people choosing each other despite everything. And somehow that choice felt like the strongest thing they'd ever done. The school situation didn't magically resolve. Parents still whispered. Some kids still said cruel things, though Mrs. Peterson cracked down hard on bullying. But something had shifted. Sophie stopped trying to hide. She talked proudly about Mom Olivia, as she'd started calling her differentiating from Mom Rachel. When kids made comments, she'd respond with calm certainty. My dad and Olivia love each other. That's all that matters. The bullies eventually moved on to easier targets. Olivia, meanwhile, found herself at a crossroads. The board tension hadn't eased. Victor Torres continued pushing for a fraternization policy that everyone knew was aimed at her relationship. Elizabeth Chen tried to mediate, but the pressure was constant. Her father's weekly Sunday calls had become unbearable. You're embarrassing yourself. The business community is laughing at you. When this falls apart, don't come crying to me. On a Wednesday in mid-June, Olivia sat in her corner office, looking at Seattle spread below her. The Space Needle, Elliott Bay, Mount Rainier, visible through rare, clear skies. She'd spent 29 years building to this moment. CEO by 29, successful by every metric her father valued, and she'd never been more miserable. Margaret knocked, entering with coffee. You've been staring out that window for 20 minutes. That's not like you. I'm thinking about quitting. Margaret sat down carefully. Quitting what exactly? This. All of it. CEO the board battles the endless proving myself. I'm tired, Margaret. What would you do instead, I don't know. Something real. Something that matters beyond quarterly profits. Margaret studied her. This is about more than the board pressure, isn't it? Daniel asked me last week what I'd do if I wasn't CEO. I couldn't answer, because I've never let myself imagine anything else. And now I imagine spending mornings with Sophie, helping with homework, being present for her life instead of squeezing her in between conference calls. I imagine time with Daniel that isn't stolen minutes between meetings. I imagine building something that actually helps people, like what affordable housing, community development, using my business skills for something that matters. Margaret smiled. That sounds wonderful. My father will disown me. Your father disowned you emotionally years ago. You just haven't accepted it. The truth hit Olivia like cold water. What if I'm making a mistake? What if you're not? Olivia, I've worked for 3 CEOs. You're the best, most capable, most successful. You're also the unhappiest. If this job is making you miserable, why stay? Because I'm supposed to. Because I fought so hard to get here. Sunk cost fallacy. You've spent years building something you don't actually want. Olivia looked at her assistant. Her friend, really. When did you get so wise? I've been wise. You just started listening. That night, Olivia arrived at Daniel's apartment with Thai takeout and a serious expression. After Sophie went to bed, she told him her decision. "I'm going to step down as CEO." Daniel's fork stopped halfway to his mouth. "What? No. Olivia, don't do that for me. I'm not doing it for you. I'm doing it for me." She took his hands. "You asked me months ago if I liked being CEO. The answer was no. I don't. I do it because I'm supposed to. Because my father expected it. Because I didn't know what else to do. But it's your company. It was my father's company. I've been maintaining his legacy, not building my own life." Voice strengthening. "I'm going to transition to chairman of the board. Still involved strategically, but not running daily operations. That'll free me to build something I actually care about. Like what community housing development? Using my skills to help people afford to live in this city. Maybe partnering with local organizations, creating jobs, actually making a difference." Daniel processed this, seeing she was serious. "What about your father? He'll be furious. He'll call it quitting. But his approval isn't worth more than my happiness." "Olivia, this is huge. I know, but I've been thinking about it for weeks. Since the school thing with Sophie. Since the board meeting. Since every morning I wake up dreading work. Cupping his face. I want to live Daniel. Actually live, not just survive. I want mornings with you. Breakfast with Sophie. To go to her school plays without taking calls. I want a life. Are you sure, more sure than I've been about anything?" Kissing him. Deep. Certain. "I'm all in. Completely terrifyingly all in." "Me too. No more pushing you away when I'm scared. And I'll stop trying to fix everything with money. Maybe fix a few things. Your resources are useful. Laughing together. Storm passing." The board meeting was scheduled for a Tuesday in late July. Olivia had prepared her resignation speech, practiced it with Margaret, revised it 3 times. But when she walked into the conference room and saw Victor's smug expression, clearly thinking this was another opportunity to undermine her, something fierce rose in her chest. She wasn't quitting in defeat. She was choosing freedom. "Thank you all for coming. I have an announcement regarding the company's leadership structure." Victor leaned forward. "What announcement? Effective October 1st, I'm stepping down as CEO of Bennett Tech Solutions." Stunned silence. "You're what Elizabeth said. I'll be transitioning to chairman of the board. I've already identified my recommendation for interim CEO while we conduct a formal search." Robert's face showed shock. "Olivia, you can't just quit." "I'm not quitting. I'm restructuring my role to better serve both the company and my life." Victor's voice was sharp. "This is because of that maintenance worker. You're throwing away your career for—" Be very careful how you finish that sentence. Ice in her voice. "My relationship with Daniel has made me reevaluate my priorities. But this decision is about me choosing the life I want, not the life I'm supposed to want." She explained her plan. Board seat maintained, strategic oversight, quarterly reviews, but not 16-hour days sacrificing everything. Bennett Tech doesn't need a burned-out CEO who resents being here. It needs leadership that's passionate and present. The vote 5-2 in favor. Victor and 1 other dissenting. Then it's official. I'll work with the transition team over the next 2 months. As she stood to leave, Elizabeth stopped her. "Olivia, I think you're brave. I hope you find what you're looking for." "Thank you, Elizabeth." The transition took 2 months. Olivia trained her replacement, a brilliant woman from their Portland office. She documented processes, handed off relationships, slowly extracted herself from daily operations. It was harder than she'd anticipated. The work had been her identity for so long, letting go felt like losing a limb. She had panic attacks, sleepless nights, moments of wondering if she'd made a terrible mistake. Daniel supported without pushing. Margaret reminded her why she'd chosen this. Sophie's innocent wisdom helped Mummy. You're happier now, I can tell. Mummy. Sophie had started using it naturally about a month ago. Olivia's father called once. She answered knowing it would be ugly. This is the most foolish thing you've ever done. I'm happy with my decision. Happy you're throwing away everything I built. That you built. Not me. I was maintaining your legacy, not building my life. And what life is that? Playing house with some blue-collar nobody. Anger rising. His name is Daniel. And he makes me happier than your approval ever did. He's using you. Even if he was, which he's not, it would still be my choice. My life. My happiness. Voice strengthening. I'm done trying to earn your love by sacrificing mine. I'm done measuring my worth by corporate achievements. I'm done being who you wanted instead of who I am. Don't call me when this falls apart. I won't need to, because even if it does, it'll have been worth it. She hung up, hands shaking, but feeling free. 30 years of trying to please him over. Rachel's sister Jennifer had been watching from afar. She'd seen social media posts, heard through mutual friends. Finally, she reached out to Daniel. I'm coming to Seattle next week. I'd like to meet Olivia. Daniel's stomach dropped. Jen, I don't know if I need to see who's in my niece's life. Non-negotiable, Danny. They met at a coffee shop in Fremont. Jennifer was early sitting with folded arms when Daniel and Olivia arrived. She looked like Rachel, same eyes, same cheekbones. Olivia saw Daniel's grief flicker. Jen, this is Olivia. Olivia Rachel's sister Jennifer. Jennifer's handshake was firm. Assessing. So you're the CEO. Former CEO as of last week. Eyebrows rose. Really? They ordered coffee. Sat. Uncomfortable silence. Sophie talks about you constantly, Jennifer said finally. Mom Olivia this, Mom Olivia that. She's an incredible kid. She is. Rachel's kid. Let's be clear about that. I would never try to replace... And yet she's calling you Mom. Olivia's throat tightened. She came up with that herself. To differentiate. Mom Rachel and Mom Olivia. She still talks about Rachel all the time. Does she? Or is she forgetting her real mother? Daniel interjected. Jen, that's not fair, isn't it? She was 3 when Rachel died. Now she's 7. Olivia's been around, 6 months? How much does Sophie actually remember versus what she's being told? Olivia stayed calm. I make sure Sophie knows about Rachel. We visited her memorial bench together. I asked Daniel to tell stories. I've encouraged Sophie to talk about her feelings. Because you feel guilty. Because Rachel matters. She's part of Sophie's identity. She's part of Daniel's life. I'm not trying to erase her. I'm trying to honor her by loving the people she loved. Jennifer's armor cracked slightly. Rachel was my best friend. We talked every day. When she died, I lost my person. And Danny shut down so hard, wouldn't return calls, cut everyone out. I've barely seen Sophie in 4 years. Tears in her eyes. I'm terrified that Sophie's going to forget Rachel completely, that she'll grow up not knowing how amazing her mother was. She won't, Olivia said firmly. We won't let that happen. If you want to be more involved in Sophie's life, we'll make that happen. Sophie should know her aunt. Should hear stories from someone who knew Rachel as an adult, not just as a wife. Jennifer studied her. You mean that completely? Sophie needs all the people who love her, including you. Silence. Jennifer's walls crumbling. Okay, she said finally. Okay, maybe I was wrong about you. You weren't wrong to be protective. You were being a good sister. Can I take Sophie for a day this weekend, just us? I want to tell her about Rachel. Things Danny might not know. Daniel nodded. She'd love that. That Saturday, Jennifer took Sophie to the Seattle Aquarium, something she and Rachel used to do. Your mum loved jellyfish, Jennifer told Sophie. She'd stand at the jellyfish tank for an hour, just watching them float. Mom Olivia likes jellyfish too. We went last month. Yeah, what else does she like? She likes when I draw pictures, and she's learning to braid my hair. And she helps with my homework, even though math is hard for her. Jennifer smiled. What do you remember about your mom? Rachel, Sophie thought hard, her voice singing, and she smelled like cookies. And she was warm. Like when she hugged me, I felt really safe. You were safe. She loved you so much. I know, Daddy tells me, and Mom Olivia tells me. How do you feel about having two mums? I feel lucky. Not many kids get two mums. Most kids only get one, but I got two mums who both love me a lot. Child logic. Perfect wisdom. That evening, Jennifer returned Sophie and stayed for dinner, watching Olivia and Daniel cook together their easy rhythm. How Olivia naturally anticipated what Sophie needed. The way Daniel looked at Olivia like she was his whole world. Before leaving, Jennifer pulled Olivia aside. I was wrong about you. Rachel would have liked you. Actually, she probably would have loved you because you're making Danny happy again. And that's all she wanted, for him to be happy. Thank you for saying that. Take care of them. They're my family. They're mine too now. Understanding passed between them. Blessing received. Olivia's housing project, now officially underway, held its groundbreaking ceremony on a clear October Saturday. Empty lot in North Seattle, future site of 40 affordable units with on-site childcare and job training center. Small crowd gathered, city officials, donors. Daniel, Sophie, Margaret, Jake, Mrs. Patterson. Olivia stood at the podium, still nervous about public speaking. 6 months ago, I was CEO of a tech company. I was successful by every traditional measure, and I was miserable. Looking at Daniel and Sophie. Then I met people who showed me that success isn't measured in profit margins. It's measured in lives touched, in families housed, in communities built. She explained the vision, partnered with local non-profits. Sustainable design. Community garden. This project represents second chances. For families who've lost housing. For single parents building stable lives. For children who deserve safe spaces to grow. Getting emotional. I've learned that privilege comes with responsibility. Not to make more money, but to help others have opportunities I took for granted. This is the beginning. After the ceremony, Daniel pulled her aside. There's something you should see. Walking to building plans. Pointing to dedication plaque design. Rachel Hayes Community Center. In memory of Rachel Hayes, 1988 to 2019. Mother, wife, friend. Find joy even when it's hard. Olivia's eyes filled with tears. You named it after Rachel. She would have loved this, loved you for doing it. Seemed right to honor her. I don't know what to say. Say you'll marry me. World stopping. Sophie gasping nearby. What Daniel kneeling right there in front of everyone. I had a whole plan. Romantic dinner at Canlis, rose petals, the works. But standing here seeing you make Rachel's memory into something beautiful, I can't wait. Pulling ring from pocket. Simple. Beautiful. Olivia Bennett. You walked into my life when I'd given up on anything beyond surviving. You didn't just save me from an elevator. You saved me from myself. Voice thick with emotion. You love my daughter like she's yours. You honor Rachel's memory instead of competing with it. You gave up a corner office to be part of our cramped apartment chaos. You chose love over safety. Sophie stage whispering. Say yes, crowd laughing. What Sophie said. Say yes, marry me. Be Sophie's mum officially. Be my wife. Help me build this life. Please. You're proposing at a groundbreaking ceremony. I'm proposing at the place that represents everything we believe in. Second chances. Building together. Love that doesn't care about bank accounts. It's perfect. You're perfect, yes. God, yes, Daniel sliding ring on her finger, kissing while crowd erupted. Sophie running over, throwing arms around both. I get a mom. A real mom. Olivia kneeling. You get a mom who loves you more than she knew possible. Can I call you just Mom now? Not Mom. Olivia, through tears, I would love that more than anything. The wedding was scheduled for a Saturday in mid-December at Seattle's Japanese Garden. Small, intimate, beautiful, even in winter. Guest list, 50 people. Margaret. Mrs. Patterson, Jake and maintenance crew, Jennifer Daniels' parents, Elizabeth Chen, close friends, Sophie's classmates. No father to walk Olivia down the aisle. She walked alone, or not alone, because Sophie walked with her, holding her hand. Daniel cried before she reached him, Sophie between them during ceremony, holding both hands. Judge officiating. Vows, Daniel, Olivia. You taught me that hearts can expand to hold new love without diminishing old love. You honor Rachel by being an amazing mum to Sophie. You honor me by choosing this life. I promise to love you through every doubt. I promise Sophie will always come first, but you'll never come second. I promise to choose you every single day forever. Olivia crying. Daniel, you taught me that success isn't dollars or titles. You showed me family is built, not born. That love is choice. I promise to be the mom Sophie deserves. The wife you deserve. The partner who shows up, who stays, who chooses you forever. To Sophie, Sophie, I promise to honor your mom Rachel's memory, to tell you stories, to make sure you know you were loved before I arrived, and you're loved even more now. You made me a mother. Thank you for that gift. Sophie, to Judge. Can I say something? Of course. Thank you for being brave, for loving each other when people were mean. You taught me love is stronger than mean words. You're my favorite people. No dry eyes. The kiss. Judge pronouncing them married. Deep certain. Sophie jumping between for group hug. Reception at Daniel's apartment. Now their apartment, though they'd started house hunting. Mrs. Patterson's cooking potluck style. Dancing in living room to Spotify playlist. Sophie's artwork as decoration. First dance, can't help falling in love. 3 of them swaying together. Jake's toast. When Daniel started dating the CEO, I thought he was nuts. Turns out he was smart. She's not CEO anymore, she's just Olivia. And Olivia fits our lives better than any CEO could. To finding where you belong? To finding where you belong. Evening, ending with Sophie falling asleep mid-party on couch. Daniel carrying her to bed. Olivia following, tucking her in together. Our daughter. They'd found a house in Maple Leaf. Older neighborhood, good schools, yards for kids. 3 bedrooms, Sophie's theirs, office/guest room. Backyard with space for garden and swing set. The mortgage was manageable because Olivia put down a large payment without making Daniel feel inadequate. Our money now, not mine, she'd said firmly. Sunday morning, 18 months after that elevator. Olivia woke first old habits but didn't jump up. Daniel's arm around her waist, still amazing. Kitchen, making real breakfast. French toast. Olivia actually good at cooking now. Daniel appearing, kissing her neck. Domestic routine, comfortable and loving. Sophie still asleep, miracle. Because Sundays are Gasworks Park days. Their life now, Olivia running Second Chance Housing Initiative. 3 affordable projects in development. Daniel promoted to building supervisor at Bennett Tech, managing entire maintenance team. Sophie, thriving, confident, happy. Regular family dinners. Normal problems, homework, stress, mortgage payments, whose turn for dishes. Normal joys. Movie nights, art shows, weekend trips to Mount Rainier. Sophie appearing hair wild. Is it French toast? Good morning to you too. Hugging Olivia. Good morning, Mum. Word still making Olivia's heart swell. Breakfast conversation. Sophie asking about Olivia's former CEO life. Do you ever miss it? Being really important. I am really important. I'm your mom. Most important job in the world. But you used to be in charge of a whole company. I was in charge of a company but not in charge of my life. Now I am. I choose how I spend my time, who I spend it with. That's real power. Plus she's helping more people now. Daniel added. We're helping more people. Partnership. Gasworks Park their Sunday spot. Walking together. Sophie running ahead. Reaching familiar bench overlooking Lake Union. Plaque in memory of Rachel Hayes, forever loved, never forgotten. Annual ritual, sitting together, Sophie between parents. Hi, Mum Rachel. I brought pictures. Their language, Mum Rachel versus Mom. Both honored. School photos from backpack placed by plaque. I got Student of the Month. Mrs. Peterson says I'm really good at science. Mum's been helping me with projects. Daniel too, bench to Rachel's memory. She's amazing, Rach. Smart, kind, curious. You'd be so proud. Olivia, comfortable speaking now. I hope I'm doing okay. Being her mom. Sometimes I wonder what you'd do. I hope I'm honoring you by loving her so much. Daniel's hand squeezed hers. Mom, you're a great mom. Mom Rachel would think so too. Child certainty absolute. They talked about Rachel's memories, voice singing, smell like cookies, feeling safe. I feel safe with you too, Mom. Highest compliment possible. Sophie's question. Do you think Mom Rachel knows about you? From heaven, I think she does. I think she's happy you have someone who loves you as much as she did. And she's not jealous. Love doesn't work that way. Your Mum Rachel loved you so much she'd want you to have all the love possible. I'm lucky. Most kids get one mum. I got two. Evening. After dinner. Sophie doing homework, Daniel washing dishes, Olivia drying. Domestic rhythm perfected over 18 months. I need to tell you something, Olivia said. Everything okay? Everything's perfect. Actually, maybe too perfect. What does that mean, I'm pregnant? Wooden plate dropping into sink. Sophie's pencil freezing. You're... What? 8 weeks. Found out this morning. Wanted to tell you together. Sophie launching herself at Olivia, squealing. I'm going to be a big sister. Can we get bunk beds? Boy or girl, can I name them? Olivia laughing. We have time to figure all that out. Looking at Daniel, still speechless. Daniel, say something. I didn't think... After Rachel, I thought Sophie would be my only... I know this is unexpected. Interrupting, pulling her close. I'm happy. So happy, just overwhelmed. Good overwhelmed. 3 of them together, soon to be 4. Sophie's hand on Olivia's stomach. Hi, baby. I'm your big sister. I'm going to teach you everything. Even my terrible jokes, Daniel added. Daddy, no. They're really not good. Laughter. Joy. Anticipation. Baby Emma Hayes arrived on a snowy February morning. 7 pounds, 3 ounces. Dark hair like Daniel, green eyes like Olivia. Sophie was at the hospital within hours, still in her school uniform, bouncing with excitement. Can I hold her? Can I please? Daniel showed her how to support Emma's head, and Sophie stared at her baby sister with pure wonder. She's so tiny. Was I this tiny? Even tinier, Daniel said. You were early. Mum, she has your eyes. Olivia's heart swelled. Sophie called her Mom naturally now. No more Mom, Olivia. She has your dad's hair. She's perfect. 6 weeks later, late March, Emma sleeping in her bassinet. Sophie at school, Daniel at work. Olivia alone in their house holding this tiny human who'd somehow made their family complete. The doorbell rang. Olivia answered carefully, Emma in her arms. Margaret stood there holding flowers and a casserole. "I told you I'd bring dinner for the first month. You don't have to." "Yes, I do. Your family." Inside, Margaret met Emma properly cooing over her while Olivia made tea. "How does it feel?" Margaret asked. "Being a mum to a newborn. Terrifying. Exhausting. Perfect. And Sophie, best big sister ever." She sings to Emma every morning before school. They sat together, comfortable silence. Then Margaret said, "I'm proud of you, Olivia." "For what?" "For having the courage to walk away from everything you thought you wanted. For choosing this life. It was the right choice. I know. But it took bravery. Your father hasn't met Emma. Won't answer my calls. I sent pictures anyway, maybe someday. And if not, then Emma has Daniel's parents. Jennifer, Mrs. Patterson, Jake, our community. Family isn't just blood." Margaret smiled. "No, it's not." Rachel Hayes Community Centre officially opened on a warm May afternoon. 40 affordable housing units, on-site childcare, job training centre, community garden, thriving. Everything Olivia had envisioned. The ceremony was bigger this time, city officials, donors, media. But Olivia only saw her family in the front row. Daniel holding Emma Sophie beside him, both beaming with pride. At the podium, Olivia spoke about second chances, about Rachel Hayes' legacy, about building something that mattered. "This centre represents what I've learned over the past 2 years, that home isn't about expensive addresses or corner offices. It's about the people who choose you, the people who stay." Looking at Daniel, "It's about finding where you belong and building that place together." After the ceremony, as they toured the completed building, Sophie asked to see the dedication plaque. Rachel Hayes Community Centre, in memory of Rachel Hayes, 1988 to 2019, mother, wife, friend, find joy even when it's hard. Below a newer edition, funded by the Bennett Hayes Family Foundation building, second chances honoring first loves. Daniel's eyes filled with tears reading it. Sophie held his hand. "Mom, Rachel would be happy, right?" "Yeah, Bug. She'd be really happy." That evening, all 4 of them in their backyard. Sophie pushing Emma on the baby swing, Daniel grilling burgers. Olivia in the garden pulling weeds dirt under her fingernails would have horrified CEO Olivia, but delighted this version. The sun was setting, painting Seattle sky in oranges and pinks. Mount Rainier visible in the distance, the mountain is out, as locals said. Daniel called everyone to the patio table. Burgers, potato salad, corn on the cob. Simple food. Perfect company. Sophie said grace something she'd started doing recently. "Thank you for our family. For baby Emma. For Mom and Dad. For Mom Rachel watching from heaven. For this food. Amen." "Amen," everyone echoed. As they ate, Emma babbling in her high chair, Sophie talking about her science fair project. Daniel's hand found Olivia's under the table. "Happy?" he whispered. "So happy. No regrets, not a single one. You just won." Olivia's heart skipped. "What I regret not asking you out sooner. Could have had 3 years of this instead of 2. Laughing, squeezing his hand. We have the rest of our lives." Good point. Later, Sophie and Emma in bed, Daniel and Olivia on their back porch, new ritual replacing his old apartment couch. 2 years ago, Olivia said I was trapped in an elevator having a panic attack, thinking my life was over. And now I know it was just beginning. The elevator had to break me open. Daniel pulled her close. Poetic. I'm allowed to be poetic. I'm happy. Happy people get poetic. Are you happy? Really ecstatically, exhaustedly, perfectly happy. They sat in comfortable silence, listening to Seattle night sounds, distant traffic, neighbors' wind chimes. Emma's white noise machine through the monitor. You know what I love most about our life? Olivia said. What? It's messy. Sophie sometimes fails tests. The house needs repairs. We argue about whose turn for dishes. We're normal. We're real. We're imperfectly perfect. I spent 30 years chasing perfection. Never realized perfect is boring. This is better. This is everything. Inside, Emma began fussing. Both parents moved automatically, 2 years of teamwork making the response instinctive. In Emma's nursery, Olivia picked up their daughter while Daniel checked the diaper. Tag team perfected. Sophie appeared in doorway, rubbing eyes. Is Emma okay? Just needed a change. Go back to bed, Bug. Can I stay? Just for a minute. Come here. All 4 of them in the small nursery. Emma content now, gurgling at her family. Sophie leaning against Daniel. Olivia holding Emma close. This is my favorite part of the day, Sophie said. The middle of the night, Daniel asked. No. When we're all together. Like a puzzle with all the pieces. Child wisdom perfect as always. Morning in the Hayes household. Olivia woke to sunlight streaming through windows, and Sophie's voice. Mom, Dad, Emma's awake, and she's trying to crawl. Both parents bolted from bed, racing to the nursery. Emma, 6 months old now, was on her stomach, rocking back and forth, determined to move forward. She's doing it, Sophie squealed. Emma lurched forward, almost not quite collapsing with frustrated cry. Come on, baby girl. Olivia encouraged, crouching beside her. You can do it. Daniel filmed on his phone, memory keeper of the family. Another lurch. Another almost. Then Emma moved forward, one tiny crawl face lighting up with triumph. She did it. Did you see? All celebrating Emma's milestone, Sophie most enthusiastically. Olivia caught Daniel's eye across Emma's head, both thinking the same thing. This is family. This chaos. This joy. This messy, beautiful, perfect family. Later, over breakfast, Sophie's slightly burnt pancakes she was learning to cook. Olivia's phone rang. Unknown number, she answered cautiously. Olivia male voice. Familiar. Painful. Dad silence from Daniel. Sophie's eyes widening. I saw the article. About the housing centre. Rachel Hayes Centre. Yes, it's impressive. What you've built. Thank you. Long pause. Then I was wrong. About you quitting. About Daniel. About all of it. Olivia's breath caught. I've been a stubborn old man, pushed you too hard, couldn't see that you were drowning trying to please me. Your mother says, Mom knows you called, she insisted I call. Said if I didn't, she'd leave me. After 45 years of marriage, I figured I should listen. Smallest laugh from Olivia. Smart man, can I meet them? Your family, my granddaughters. Tears in Olivia's eyes now. Daniel's hand on her shoulder. I'd like that. Yes. Good, that's good. I'll be in Seattle next month. If that's okay, more than okay. After hanging up, Olivia sat quietly processing. Sophie asked, That was Grandpa, yes. The mean one who didn't like Daddy. He's not mean, just stubborn. But he wants to meet you and Emma. Will he like us? He'll love you. How could he not? Daniel pulled Olivia close, whispering in her ear. You okay? Yeah. Surprised, but okay. Maybe people can change. Maybe. That afternoon they walked to Gasworks Park, now a family of 4. Emma in carrier on Daniel's chest. Sophie running ahead. They sat on their bench, Rachel's bench, looking at Lake Union sparkling. Mum Rachel Sophie said to the plaque, "We have good news. Baby Emma crawled today, and Grandpa called. And Mum's housing project is helping lots of families." To the heir, to Rachel's memory, Olivia added, "Thank you, for Daniel, for Sophie, for teaching them to choose joy. I promise to keep teaching Sophie about you, and Emma will know you too." Daniel's arm around Olivia, Sophie between them. Emma content in carrier. Family. Chosen, built, imperfect, perfect. 2.5 years ago, Olivia had been trapped in an elevator, terrified and alone. Now she was here, free, loved, home. All because she'd asked one question. "Can I have a date with you?" And Daniel Hayes, single dad, maintenance worker, beautiful human, had said yes. Friends, if this story reminded you that love has nothing to do with bank accounts and everything to do with choosing each other, we'd love for you to be part of our community. Hit that subscribe button right now and join our channel where we celebrate love that breaks all the rules and families that are built on courage, not convenience. If this moment moved you, if you felt something shift in your heart, watching Olivia and Daniel choose love over status, click that like button. Your support helps us bring more stories like this to people who need to remember that second chances are real, that broken doesn't mean finished, and that sometimes the bravest thing you can do is walk up to someone and say, "I don't have a husband. Can I have a date with you?" Share this video with someone who needs to hear it. Maybe they're struggling with what other people think. Maybe they're afraid to ask for what they want. Maybe they just need to be reminded that love is always worth the risk. Drop a comment below and tell us, what's the bravest thing you've ever done for love? We read every single comment, and your stories inspire us to keep creating content that matters. Because sometimes that person, the one who seems impossible, the one who doesn't fit your world, is exactly the person who changes your entire world. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.